This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with that prize guy. We're here at the final press conference of Crocker, Donovan. Delighted to join with the main man, Eddie Hearn. Eddie, 7 years on from missing out in Windsor Park, but obviously when Frampton signed with Frank Warren instead. You're now getting your Windsor piece to the jigsaw.
Can't wait. And it's a bigger fight than Frampton Luke Jackson. You know what I mean? Joking. But, you know, for that, obviously that was more of a celebration of Carl. This is a fight that is for the vacant world title. And, you know, I can't wait. Not just the main event, but the whole card. You know, I thought watching everything up there with Keevan and Ishmael and even, you know, McKenna and Moran and Farrell as well, you know, in his fight. I was listening to them two going at it, Molly McCann, Pat Brown. I just think it's a great night of boxing and really excited for the atmosphere.
It's quite ironic. I was speaking to Jamie Conlan yesterday, and whenever he first made the fight in the SSE, he just sort of projected it before 4,000. Yeah. They're now having 5 times that in Windsor Park. It shows how much controversy pays in boxing.
It does, but also I think there is that, but there's also the element of it's a unique event at Windsor Park. I think, you know, if you're from Belfast and you like, forget boxing, if you like sport, you should be there because it's like a once in a decade kind of night. Same with Carl and you know, Luke Jackson. And it's important because it's for the world welterweight title. It's a massive chance for Irish boxing, for these guys. So yeah, the controversy helps, of course, from the first fight. But also, you know, quite interestingly, the controversy for this is a little bit different because normally in a controversial fight, someone will be on top and they'll get beat. Whereas this was like, that did happen, but the surroundings of it, you know, the fight was fairly one-sided last time. This time it'll be different because Lewis will be better. I have no doubt. And I actually love what I'm seeing from him this week, which is just, you know, low-key. Yeah, don't worry. Oh, I can't win this fight. Paddy, you know, he dominated me last time. He's going to, you know, almost talking Paddy up. And then you got Paddy walking around like Conor McGregor, you know, with his hair braided and everything. So I think it's going to be a really interesting fight. And, you know, it's a big night.
I know that Paddy's going to be the big favourite, the bookies and the big favourite people off the first fight. Is Lewis maybe playing on the fact of nearly a sort of sympathy vote to people to go, I'm going to stay quiet, I'm going to act the underdog mentality, get the odds way up, and then obviously get everybody a payday?
I don't know about the odds, but I just think that take the pressure off yourself. You know, I see a lot of fighters fight at home, particularly for the first fight, and they underperform. I saw it last week with Sugar Nunes. He just said, I just felt like flat, I don't know. And he's got that one out of the way now, Lewis. He's just got to make sure he makes it count on Saturday. Because if he never got this rematch, he would probably always regret how he boxed in the first fight. Like, he's a puncher. He can box as well, but he can't outbox Paddy Donovan. He's got to hurt him. Got to find a way to get to him. And that way, he's not follow him around with a high guard and just try and land something. You've got to engage and you've got to use your power and you've got to take his confidence away early. So yeah, I think him and Billy Nelson should be saying, we got to go for it on Saturday night. And if he does, you'll get a thriller.
Carl Frampton obviously had a piece in the Sunday Life the other day was saying that obviously the Northern Ireland government still hadn't funded for Windsor. I know Gordon Lyons was at the public workout yesterday. Has that now been finalised? Because I guess a lot of that sometimes in funding depends on the future of matchroom coming back to Belfast.
Yeah, I mean, we've had help, you know, like Pete, the stadium have been great to us and, you know, everybody's supported it. You know, unfortunately, well, there's never been a time, but the time for funding for boxing, doesn't matter where it is, Croke Park, Northern Ireland, England, it just don't exist. You know, you've got governments putting loads of money into events that you've never even heard of, sailing championships and all this, you know, or NFL, you know, rather than investing in big nights of boxing. And, you know, we never really, to be honest with you, we never really ask for it. And that's sometimes the perception of a misconception of the Croke Park conversations, where people think we're asking for money. We're not asking for money. We're just asking for some kind of cost parity between Croke Park and, say, Wembley Stadium. That's all. Because when it's twice as much, it affects the numbers of the show and actually if it's feasible or not. So, but yeah, we've been really happy with Windsor Park, you know, the government, and also the numbers. You know, there was a little bit of a lull because you kind of get 2 or 3 weeks out and then tickets just really slow down. And this week it's been wild, like, you know, 150, 250 a day, and hopefully that keeps going today, Friday, and yeah, we'll I think 19's a real realistic, maybe even 20 if we keep going.
Obviously, a lot of people will give you stick for the fact that of speaking for money and speaking for handouts, but we only have to remember the Northwest 200 here brings a lot of tourism to the North Coast, and every year you're bringing tourism to Belfast, so it's only right that you sort of get compensated by the government to go, we're bringing events here, we're bringing people from outside, we're bringing a lot of revenue into the country, so give us a small portion of that back.
Yeah, everything's different. Like, not every fight brings international tourism revenue, because some of it's just local stuff, and sometimes every government will have like an analysis of what generates what financially. So, like, for example, when AJ boxed Joseph Parker in Wales, you had people flying in from New Zealand, travelling down from London, and obviously a lot of people from Cardiff as well, but most people were travelling to that fight. When you do a show at Croke Park, it's really the people of Bray and the people of Dublin, and do you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily driving international tourism revenue to the city, but it's still generating a lot of money for the city. So sometimes, like, if you do a big international football tournament, you know that people are travelling from all over the world, and that they view that differently when they look at the value of it. So, but I just feel this is quite an iconic night for sport in Northern Ireland, and sometimes boxing doesn't quite get the support that I think it deserves.
Speaking of Croke Park, obviously I know Katie Taylor's obviously got a 10-minute segment for yourselves coming out this evening. Chantal Carman and MVP's been very vocal the last couple of weeks saying fight or for Kate. Can you obviously, has there been any conversations with Katie yet as to what's next? Is she going to carry on? What's sort of looking like a likely option
I'm
for her?
with Katie tomorrow actually for a bit of lunch and just talking about the future. She's not going to fight anytime soon. That's the reality. Like, she's definitely not fighting this year. I don't see her fighting in January or February. And maybe she won't fight again. Maybe she will. Tomorrow's not a wash your decision. It's just a chat and say, I really couldn't tell you which way she's going to decide to go. I think obviously Croke Park, that kind of opportunity would be huge for her, and I think that would be difficult for her to say no. But also at the same time, what a time to walk away. So I don't think there's a bad decision. It'll have to come from her heart. And we'll see what's next.
Conor Wallace, obviously, with Bivol obviously currently out. Is it looking like Michael Efford and Conor Wallace next for the IBF title?
So not at the moment. That fight has been ordered for the interim world title because Bivol has a medical exemption. But the reality is that Bivol will have to fight either the winner or Effort, in between. And he might not. But right now, Bivol's saying, no, I'm potentially looking at that fight, but I have an injury and I can't fight, which is legit. He had an operation. So right now, it's Conor Wallace against Effort for the interim world title. They could be elevated in time, whatever. So it's a massive fight for Conor, and it's a fight I believe he wins as well. I would like, if Dimitri, I had dinner with Dimitri and I asked him honestly, if you're not going to fight these guys, we shouldn't hold up a belt. But he's undecided about what he's going to do. So by the time that fight comes around, it could indeed be for a world title. And obviously, we'd love to see Conor get the victory and become world champion.
Aaron McKenna, obviously, he's had an option, obviously, in the last fight with Liam Smith. What's happening with Aaron McKenna? Will Matchroom sign Aaron McKenna, or is he back to being a free agent, sort of looking for a good fight?
He's a free agent at the moment. I mean, look, I thought Aaron McKenna boxed great against Liam Smith, and he's a great fighter. Sometimes you just don't have the route for someone, in the division. And I think we looked at a couple of opportunities. I think we made him a couple of offers for fights that he didn't quite like, and maybe it might be at a different weight or a few pound less, and he's in a good position, and he's a very good fighter.
Finally, obviously, what can fans expect from your view of Saturday night?
Just a brilliant experience and a great night. Have a great night. Look after yourself. Don't be too silly, but just enjoy it. Have a laugh with your mates, put a smile on your face, and just watch a brilliant night of boxing, and enjoy the moment. Enjoy what is great about boxing, which is thrills and spills, a load of drama, heart on your sleeve stuff, and just a great atmosphere.
Thanks for your time, Eddie.
Cheers, mate.